but I always have to delay like a little kind of buffer for like 5 to 10 seconds because LinkedIn delays for some reason and cuts it off in the beginning. So
Yeah.
sorry about that. Hey everyone, I am Jim Gast, and this is No Law Firm Left Behind. I want to thank you for joining us today. We're joined by Paul Unger of Affinity Consulting. Paul, how are you?
Good. Thank you, Jim.
Very excited to have you. Very excited to have you. I want to apologize first. I know probably apologies are not necessary, but we canceled last week's show because of some personal issues with my wife. Everything's good. Thank you, everyone, for your concerns and your messages. I really feel touched by that. I just needed to be at my wife's side. Everybody can understand, right, Paul?
That's right. That's right.
That's why we're here. We're not here, on this planet for podcasts and live stream shows. I mean, we're here for each other, and that's my wife, guys. So again, thanks a lot. Well, listen, Paul, I cannot say thank you enough for joining us. I know your time is incredibly valuable, and we've got 30 minutes, up to 30 minutes. So I want to get right down to it. If you mind if I just kind of jump right in?
Let's jump in.
Let's go. So, Paul, listen, we've known each other for a very long time. It has been a long time. Yeah. 20 years better, something like that, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
I know the history, right? But our audience doesn't know the history. So give us a little bit of background on yourself and Affinity Consulting, and how we came to get where we're at today. That's a big one. Sorry.
Well, gosh, where do I start? I started out practicing in Columbus, Ohio, and I've always had a love for technology, and I've always had a love for law. And this was kind of the intersection of law and technology and my two loves. And I always thought, if I didn't like doing the tech, or if it didn't work out, I could go back and practice bankruptcy and personal injury. But I'm glad that I didn't, although I do enjoy it. But Jim, I think we met. Didn't we meet at an amicus attorney conference?
It had to be an amicus one. So I was time slip certified first, right?
Likewise.
That old program, right? And I think I used to go to conferences for that, but I don't think we encountered each other until amicus.
Yeah, I think it was maybe Toronto or an amicus attorney training or some sort. And boy, that was the cat's meow, wasn't it? Like,
do you remember the dinner? Were you at the dinner? Were you at the dinner at the Hockey Hall of Fame?
That's right. That was an amazing event.
That was the best, and that's going way back.
Toronto.
Oh my gosh.
Toronto, 1999 or 2000.
Yeah. And then Time Matters and PC Law and all those things. Hot dogs. So let me ask you, I mean, all the way back in the HMU, and everyone, if you don't know what HMU stands for, it's Henley, March, and Unger. And I never met Henley.
You never met Henley?
No, Barron. March. I'm sorry, March. I never met March.
Yeah,
I know Barron. I'm not putting the last name together. Sorry, what an idiot. March. Yeah. I never met March. And then Debbie came on the scene. What a fantastic crew you've got there.
Yeah. Well, thanks. It's been a journey, and we just hit 100 mark with employees. In the original days, it was just three of us. And so we've really come a long way. It's been a huge journey.
I remember. Do you guys consider yourself a legal tech company still? I mean, you do so much, right?
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's our core market. Whether it's law firms or legal departments, 99.9% of our clients are law firms or legal departments. Our client demographics changed a bit as we've grown, and that really goes to the lawyerist Affinity merger that I know we're going to talk about in a bit. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we provide more than just technology solutions, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we do strategic consulting. We're really, we're more than just, we're going to install amicus attorney at your site. we come in and we solve problems, and we
Yeah.
help with management and leadership development. And my passion, as time has evolved, is time management. So there's a lot of technology that gets folded into that. But yeah, at the end of the day, we are a legal tech company.
I know there's like there's a whole slew of things that you do in those arenas. I know there's like, partner retreat organization and presentation. Tell me a little bit more about some of the things that you're bringing to the table right now.
Yeah. So, independent of the traditional technology solutions like time billing and accounting and practice management, document management, and document automation, kind of the four, plus training and all of those things, as well as, Microsoft, core Microsoft, Adobe Acrobat type training. We, we started probably 13 years ago, going into firms and really looking at what they're doing. Mostly back then as a technology, through a technology lens.
Yeah.
And that has evolved over time, and we've developed a lot of expertise, and we've hired a lot of people to where now we'll go in and we'll take a look at management issues,
Mhm.
financial planning, succession planning,
That's a
leadership
big one.
development. And then, with a lot of the CLE programs and professional development programs that we do, that has evolved into doing a lot of firm retreats. So
Mhm.
it's one of my favorite things to do is, go into a firm and spend the day or a weekend with them, and look at what they're doing and help them with their strategic planning, how they're going to grow in the next 10 or 20 years, and really solving problems that are more than technology. We always have said, people come to us as with you. I'm sure they come with you with a technology question or problem, and there's always a people problem, a process problem, and a technology problem.
Mhm.
And so, we've got to. We found, look, let's just tackle all three, and that's kind of where we are.
Yeah, you guys became experts, and I'm gonna put it out there. We've always been competitors, right? But very friendly competitors, and we've always kind of taken it from a different approach. You guys have done a great job at managing that people and that process aspect of it. And we were more of the tech geared towards the tech, right? You got to evaluate and help people with process, but you guys came a long way, and I think that's your bailiwick is process and people. Really, the technology is it was always there first, in my opinion. And correct me if I'm wrong. It was always there in the very beginning,
Yeah.
but I think you guys saw that that the people and the processes are just as important, if not more important, than the technologies that's being used.
Yeah, there's still a huge part of what we do that's software, right?
Mhm.
But the hardware and the networking, Jim, we had a revelation. The light bulb went off.
Yeah.
Can't remember exactly what year it was, but it was probably around 2010-ish. We thought, we're going to let the SpliceNets of the world do the really hard, the networking and the hardware, the Microsoft 365 support as it came around. So there's overlap in what we do insofar as some of the software and maybe some training aspects, but we've always viewed your company to be a wonderful company to partner with and to send to our clients to, because we didn't do it as well. And we realized our core strengths, and that's why we went that direction.
Well, you know what? Let's pull back the curtain a little bit and tell everyone, let everyone. I mean, we have had a relationship, a business relationship. We call on Affinity for certain things. Let's get right to that. Actually, um, so Worldox was recently acquired by NetDocs. That was a great segue, by the way. And and one more thing before I finish that, the SpliceNets of the world were happy when you guys stopped doing the hardware and software. We were like, oh, this is good for us.
Well, you did it better.
Oh, thank you. You guys are fantastic. So, NetDocs bought Worldox, right? Wow, what a surprise! That was, maybe you were on the inside. I don't know, but for someone that's a little bit more on the outside of that, that was using Affinity for Worldox, right? Worldox projects. It came as a surprise to me, and I had known some customers that recently went with Worldox instead of going with NetDocs, and then the news came out. So, how do you feel about that? I mean, did you know it was coming? Do you have obviously nobody wants to put down NetDocs. They do a great job at what they do, but how do you feel about that little bit of consolidation in that market space?
Well, so we knew about it about a week before everybody else.
Okay.
Okay. But it was a huge surprise to us too. And, we know the leadership in both of those companies, and we talk to them regularly. And they kept that secret really well. We were surprised by that. And, a bit of history, with Worldox at one point, they were going to develop a cloud-based solution, and they went down that road and they decided to pull the plug. And we were really disappointed, as honestly, I think the leadership of Worldox was disappointed as well, because we clearly saw the writing on the wall that if they were going to survive in the long term, they had to put together a real SaaS solution and not like the hybrid cloud solution that they have. And when they decided to pull the plug, my initial reaction was, NetDocs, please go buy them. Because I love this company, Worldox, and and we've been selling it and servicing it for forever. And I couldn't imagine actually a better buyer than NetDocuments. It would really solve all the problems, because I always felt conflicted because of my relationship with Worldox, and I love the NetDocs people.
Yeah.
And the thing that we decided to do very early on was just be blunt with both of them and say, listen, there are going to be situations where an on-prem solution is the right thing, and there's going to be plenty of other clients where the cloud solution is the right thing. And as time went on, as the cloud solution really was becoming the right thing for most people. So yeah, we were surprised by it. I was glad that it happened, but when it did happen, we were like, oh my gosh, now we have thousands of users out there that we have to convert and migrate, and and listen, like we sold Worldox to a client, maybe 6 months before, and now they're saying, well, why didn't you sell us NetDocs? Well, because we didn't know. And so, some of that stuff gets kind of messy.
Yeah.
And now we are working on the solutions to work that all out. Right.
Yeah.
But I couldn't imagine, if a Worldox customer came to us and said, we want something else, NetDocuments was probably going to be the recommendation most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and as a legal tech evangelist, right? And that's what I kind of put us in a category of, right?
Yeah.
We love legal tech. It's just so fun, right? There's so many options. And in the last maybe like 8 years, there've been so many players that have just come out in the SaaS environments that have changed the landscape. It used to be just on-premise applications, and that was it,
Yeah.
It really, a lot of people don't understand how hard it is to stay agnostic,
It is, and NetDocs was NetDocs. Let's face it, with SaaS, they were the pioneer. I mean,
yeah.
I remember when NetDocs went into a pretty large firm in Columbus, and it was probably one of NetDocuments' first large major law firms in the country. And I talk to users there, and they're like, "Oh, it's slow. It's in a browser." And, we thought there's no way these people are going to be able to survive. Like this is 22 years ago, somewhere around there. And they and law firms like, there's no way I'm going to put my documents in the cloud. Who knows who has them? And they really paved the way. And at least in the legal tech world, they really paved the way, and they survived and have done a magnificent job. They're not always the solution that we would recommend. There's iManage is a fantastic product, and now they have a true SaaS solution as well. We love to see that competition. But yeah, it was a big eye-opening surprise for all of us.
Yeah. Wow. And for me, I look at NetDocs, and I love NetDocs. I think it's fantastic. We've helped implement it for firms, and you just always have to let the customer just be candid. We have an on-premise solution. We have other off-premise solutions, SaaS solutions, and just help them and guide them. And even in those categories, there were other solutions like Worldox and iManage, right? You had those were the two major players on-prem, and then there's other solutions off-prem as well as SaaS but I'm in the same category as you. I always felt guilty, and I think the consolidation helps us help our customers better. It's almost like the less choices there are, maybe it's a little bit better,
Yeah, but a couple thoughts on that. First is there are a lot of document management solutions just emerging. Litify has developed DocRio, which for a first generation document management system is really amazing. I mean, it's incredibly mature, but it's built on the Salesforce platform.
Oh, wow. That's right.
That's why, you have a lot of companies like Lex Workplace, who is really being aggressive. And I looked at their product just the other week, and I'm amazed with how mature it is for as young as a product it is. So there are other solutions that are available. But I don't know about you, Jim, but we still have some Worldox clients, and it's not just some, it's a good handful where on-prem is kind of needed. Like they're in a place where they don't have, it's hard to believe in 2023 they don't have good internet connectivity, but some of them don't. They're in weird geographic locations where they really need on-prem. And so when Worldox goes away, and no one knows that date yet, there is an end of life that has been announced for Worldox Cloud. So that's going to be August of this year, but there aren't that many Worldox Cloud customers, but there are a ton of Worldox on-prem customers, and a good handful of them still need an on-prem solution.
You do.
So, and I don't see one out there. iManage, if you contacted iManage today, they're pushing everybody to their cloud solution.
They are. Yeah, it's there's also apprehensiveness too. I mean, some firms just are very apprehensive still to this day, believe it or not. And that's okay. We can't tell them they have to be comfortable. It's their decision. That is the one scare for me, is that when the on-premise applications start to dwindle, I don't mind consolidation in the industry, but I do like that choice between on-prem and SaaS for our customers. So let's move on though, because we got to respect time here. I want to give lots of time to the most frequent merger of Lawyerist with Affinity Consulting. Congratulations first. That's awesome.
Thanks.
I'm excited about it. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, we have a lot of clients who that are small firms, small and solo. In fact, I think somewhere around 90% of the firms in the United States are, have less than 50 users. So that has always been a big market of ours. And as we've grown, a lot of our clients reach out to us and say, are we too small for Affinity? And we're like, absolutely not. Like they've always been a priority of ours. And I think the merger really demonstrates that commitment to the solo small firm market, because that has always been their market. And they've always been able to do things that we haven't been able to accomplish at Affinity. And so, Stephanie Everett and Aaron Street are brilliant people, and they're super creative. They problem solve, but their lawyerist lab, their solutions and their coaching that they have provided and the services they provide to small firms, I think really complement what we do. And so we're keeping the branding of the Affinity branding and the lawyerist branding, but we are clearly under one umbrella, and we are figuring out ways to really help each other in our day-to-day operations. So, for instance, they provide this amazing coaching service. And one of my passions is time management.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm gonna help them and join part of their team in providing time management coaching to really enhance that service. Right. So there are a lot of complementary things that we can do for each other, but we're super excited. It was an enormous amount of work over almost the last year to make it happen.
Wow. It's been in the works for a year. That's incredible. You guys kept it a good secret. Fantastic. Yep. I love it. Yeah. I like one interesting element of this, and you don't see it enough. It's forgive me, I don't mean to insult anybody, the girl power aspect of it, right? Debbie seems to be heavily involved with this, and their leadership over the lawyerist. That's great. That is just, you just can't do better in that.
Yeah. Debbie Foster is one of the most brilliant people I have ever met. And, she's been our leader at Affinity since the merger. And it was funny because in the early days, we're like, well, she said, I'll be the managing partner, and, we'll do it for 2 years, and then we'll rotate somebody off. And then it became evident that she was the right choice for the long term. And, and she leads us and really pushes us into, Baron and I tend to be a little bit more conservative about business decisions. And, she pushes us beyond our comfort level into these spaces like the lawyerist merger. And then, and Stephanie Everett, I've had respect for her for many years. And she, and I love those two. Like, those two are we look at those two, like they're at the realm. And I love that, the girl power is absolutely true.
I just can't wait to see what they come up with.
They're forces. They are forces in the industry.
There's no question. They have an aura about the two of them. And, I'll tell you this, I don't know if you know it or not. So I'm in San Francisco for an ALA. I'm presenting an ALA event, Association of Legal Administrators event. Debbie's presenting. I think we actually presented almost like back to back. And I hung out for hers. She came for mine. And she rocks on the stage, by the way. You all do. And so it was all over, and we're kind of chatting, and she said, "What are you going to do? You want to go to lunch or something like that?" I'm like, "No, I'm going to run across the hold on."
I remember this.
Yeah, I'm running across the bridge, right? And it's escaped me, the bridge name. Why am I not remembering the bridge name? Help me out. What's the bridge name?
Golden Gate
Bridge. Thank you. I don't know why. I said, "Yeah, I'm going to go run across the bridge because I love to run. It's one of my favorite things to do." And she goes, "Can I go?" And I'm like, absolutely, So we ran across the bridge. It was great. That's how much of a force she is. She's just like ready to go. Just, you know what? She was thinking lunch, and she just found something that was more powerful to her, and she just did it. It was fun.
Yep. And she's not a runner. She's a big Pelotoner, I believe, like the bike. but that's the way she is. She seeks out adventure and she seeks out new things.
Yeah. I just, you know what, we ran and it wasn't a run per se. It was a sightseeing run. Hey, let's stop here and just kind of eyeball this. She just has, and we also ask her about me falling down in front of the painted ladies' houses from the Full House show. I fell down in the mud. It was horrible.
Oh no.
I digress. You have a book. What a great book. I bought it. Idiot me, I left it at home where I'd be holding it up right now. Imagine this is your book right here, Taming the Digital Chaos. So, I didn't read it, page through it a lot, thumb through it a whole lot because I want to know, but I want your take on some of the things in the book. Where did the inspiration come from? You're a big time management guy. Tell us about your thoughts on why you needed to put this book out.
Well, I've always been a David Allen getting things done person.
GTD, absolutely.
And, in the probably the early 2000s with all the CLE programs that I do, I was getting asked, hey, Paul, can you do an email management program? And, the ironic thing about that is if you talk to Baron and Debbie, you would know in the year 2005, I was the absolute worst person in the world at email management. I had 30,000 emails in my inbox. I was always so client focused that I would neglect my communication with them. And so, so I'm like, absolutely, I'll put together an email management because it was therapy for me. Yeah. And then as it evolved, I realized, email management is about time management, which is about task management. And it's absolute time management malpractice not to talk about distraction management in the year 2023, right? So I felt, it's always been, ever since doing that very first program, it's been a passion of mine. And then the pandemic hit. I'd always wanted to write a book about time management. And then I had all the time in the world with the lockdown. And so I actually finished the book that was like 5 years in the making. Wow. During COVID.
That's awesome. And let me tell everybody, first off, the link's at the bottom of the screen here. And if you're listening to the podcast, we'll make sure that the links are available in comments. Here's the thing. As it's not a hard read at all. It's a very easy read. I mean, it's not meant for, rocket scientists or astrophysicists in any sense. It's very foundational. Would you agree? Is that how you it?
Listen, I am not an academic rock. I did pretty well at school, but the book is practical. And that's one of the things that really bothered me. I love David Allen, but he didn't attack technology. Mm-hmm. And so he would say often, there's wonderful tools out there like Outlook that can help you. And I'm like, well, how? Yep. And really the book is incredibly practical with step-by-step directions and screenshots about the theory, right? The methodology of time management, which is incredibly simple. You don't have to read a book that's this thick, and then applying the technology to it as well, which requires a lot of upkeep because, the tech changes, the software changes, new programs come about. And this year I'm releasing the 2nd edition.
Good for you. I was going to ask about that. Do we have something coming up? So real quick, I got the link in the bottom of the screen. Please don't try to write that down. Grab your phone and take a picture of it or catch it on the replay, but we will put the link in all the places we can so that everyone has it. All right. So you've got something really exciting coming out on the 9th. You wanted to kind of talk about that? I don't want to tip the cards.
My digital course. So one thing that came really clear in with COVID was, you could deliver a lot of learning through.
Bring your mic up a little bit for me. Bring your mic up a little bit. Sorry.
Yep. There you could deliver it. Yeah, you could deliver a lot of really high quality learning through really bite-sized portions, right? And so we developed this digital course, which is really self-serve and bite-sized, really small. The lessons are 5-10 minutes at the most. But the digital course that goes with the book, and you get the book with it, is coming out on the 9th. So we're super excited about that.
So there's a book with it as well.
Yep, there's a book and a planner. So I have a daily planner that I developed as well that goes along with the book and the digital course.
Well, I'll have to, you know what? I'm going to hop on that. I want to point out though, that the website you gave, Paul, was not one I was used to. It's affinityinsight.com. Okay.
Yeah.
So by all means, pay attention to that. Again, screenshot it. We'll put it in the links everywhere. We got to close up here shortly. So really, everyone, pay attention to this last part. Probably, in my opinion, maybe one of the most valuable. I mean, everything's been pretty valuable, but this is coming right from Paul. So Paul, I'm going to ask, right? Do you have like maybe a top tip or two that you can give for, time management and managing interruptions?
I would say stop trying to be a multitasking superhero. And that's what, we all try to be. The reality is the human brain doesn't multitask, we single task. And so, following methodologies like Pomodoro, where we single task, we carve out more single tasking time. As lawyers, and anyone in the legal profession, it's a hair on fire world, which is probably why I'm bald. But we have to dial it down, and so related to that, I would say probably the second most important thing, if you were cornering me and say just give me two things, I would say email management is kind of the monster, right? So with getting 150 emails a day, instead of leaving your inbox open or Outlook open all day, be more deliberate about when you check email. And follow 4 Ds. So delete, do, delegate, delay. Pick 5 times maybe a day that you check email, and then adjust it upward or downward based on your needs. We have to be responsive to our clients and our colleagues, but follow the 4 Ds, where we try to touch the email once, and then we either delete, do, delegate, delay. And then when it falls in one of those 4 baskets, and I go into great detail in the book, obviously, but when it falls in one of those 4 baskets, those emails and all that communication landing in a place where we have processes in place to make sure that we're following up and nothing slips between the cracks.
You know what? I don't let your email control your life. I agree with that. I agree with you completely. Well, listen, we got to end the show. It's sad because I could go on for hours with you. Real quick, everyone, if you're not a member on our LinkedIn group, No Law from Left Behind, by all means, please go out there. Paul's a member. Thanks for being a member, Paul. We put all of our shows there. We put a lot of other resources. There's a lot of professionals there that you can work with and collaborate with as well. So sorry about the URL. Can't do anything about it. That's LinkedIn. Please give us pretty URLs for our groups. Take a screenshot. We'll also put this in our in the comments of our show. If you haven't been getting the magazine, this is Mike Rowe, everyone, very important professional. Lots of great content in the magazine. So if you haven't gotten this month's magazine, PM me and I'll get you on the list so we can get you a copy of the magazine. And finally, if you're looking for our past shows, Debbie was on a past show. We've had some great guests in the past. No Law from Left Behind, splice.net/No Law from Left Behind. Just go there. We've got the podcast links and we've got the live streams as well there. So, Paul, I cannot say thank you enough for joining me today.
It was a pleasure to catch up.
Yeah, it was really good. We have to do this again. I'd like to get a panel together. Would you be interested in something like that maybe next month?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do that. And I think that we were talking about maybe having a few people from Affinity on sprinkled in throughout the year too. So excited for that.
Sounds great.
Once again, thanks a lot, Paul. Everyone, thank you for joining again today. See you next week, 10:30 Eastern time next Tuesday. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks.